So Barbara Brown Taylor is a beautiful writer. She's an Episcopal priest and an author. She's written tons and tons of books. And she tells this one story that I love about a woman who was searching after the answer to the question, what is the meaning of life? So the first thing the woman did was she read all kinds of books. She devoured books on every kind of subject, history, philosophy, religion, psychology, all the things. And she learned so much, she could keep up with the smartest people on a variety of subjects, but she couldn't find a satisfactory answer to her question, what is the meaning of life? Books weren't going to do, lectures weren't going to do. So finally, she was so obsessed with her question, it wouldn't let her go, right? It was wrestling in her spirit, and she had to find an answer, and decided to travel the world and search for an answer. And when she was in India, someone said, I know a man who may be able to help you. I know a man who you should go and talk to about this. And this man lived deep in the Himalayas. And she knocked on his door. And when the man answered it, she started immediately just saying all the stuff she had done. I've read all these books, and I've listened to all these lectures, and I've traveled the world, all trying to get to this question, what is the meaning of life? The man said, come on in and have some tea. The woman resisted his invitation. She didn't want tea. She wanted the answer to her question. But the man wouldn't budge, so she accepted his invitation. While he brewed the tea, the woman started listing all the books she had read, all the lectures she had attended, the people that she had met. And while she was rattling off all this information, the man put a cup in front of her and began pouring the tea. She was so busy telling the story that she didn't realize that her cup was full, and so the man kept pouring and pouring and pouring until eventually the liquid started overflowing from the cup, and that boiling liquid landed on her skin and scalded her. You've had this happen right before. You pour a cup of coffee, right, or a cup of tea, and it lands on your skin and jolts you awake. And so it lands on her skin and scalds her, and she yells, what are you doing? Can't you see there's no more room in this cup? It's full. Don't you see that? And the man looked into her eyes, and he paused, and he spoke slowly as he'd been doing all day. And he said, just so with you. You've come here wanting something from me, but what am I to do? There's no more room in your cup. Come back when it's empty, and we'll talk. But right now, your cup is way too full. When I do a little bit of introspection, try to be a little bit more self-aware, and stop myself from judging Zechariah too harshly, I start to realize, much to my dismay, how much I am like Zechariah. His cup was way too full for the mighty disruption that came from God. His life was way too full for his imagination to see what God was up to. How often am I far too busy, especially this time of year, for any disruption God tosses my way? How often am I too enlightened and sophisticated to believe that God still speaks in weird and miraculous and mysterious ways even today? How often am I too riddled with self-doubt to believe that God can do powerful things through me?